Hey, what's going on, guys? The vegan math guy here. We're in isolation, so we're just doing a bunch of math problems. On my IG story, I had people ask me what they wanted me to cover, and someone said that they wanted me to talk about how many rotations of the crank will it take to ride 100 miles on a bike going 95 revolutions per minute. Let's think about that. Okay, so I gathered my calculations and it looks like there's gonna be two parts to the problem. Part one is how many rotations of the crank or the pedal will it take to ride 100 miles? And part two, if I was rotating it at a rate of 95 RPM or rotations per minute, how long would it take me to get to 100 miles? Okay, I got my measuring stick, I got my whiteboard, and I got my marker. What I wanted to do is I wanted to measure the diameter of the crank and diameter of the back wheel. I later realized that it wasn't really necessary to take the diameter of the crank, but I still wrote that down. And that happened to be 8 inches. Then I got the diameter of the back wheel, and you're gonna see right now my bike's kind of gonna fall really clumsy there. But that's not the best way to measure it, Miguelito. But I ended up fixing that at the end of the video. I found the diameter to be about 27 inches, wrote that down. And now what I'm gonna do right after this is I'm gonna try to figure out how many revolutions of the crank does it take to complete one full revolution of the back wheel. And I kind of messed up here because, as you can see, the crank got stuck to the chair there. And then I started noticing the back wheel was spinning a little bit. So at the end of the video, I measured the correct revolutions of the wheel to the crank, and it ended up being 3 revolutions of the wheel to 1 revolution of the crank. All right, I got my results. Let's get the math going. Okay, got the numbers dialed in here on the whiteboard. I'll show the whiteboard up on the screen here. So the diameter of the back wheel happens to be 27 inches, meaning that the circumference was going to be 27 pi or 84.8 inches. I found that there were 3 revolutions of the back wheel for every 1 revolution of the crank. 3 revolutions will therefore equal to 254.4 inches of travel for the back wheel. Now converting that to miles, I found that it was 3 revolutions for every 0.00406 miles. Trying to convert that to 100 miles, I got that it will take me 73,891.626 revolutions of the back wheel to complete 100 miles. But because we're talking about the crank, I divided that number by 3 and that gave me 24,630.542 revolutions of the crank in order for me to complete 100 miles. Okay, so part 2, given those revolutions of the crank, how many hours would it take me to complete the 100 miles? So I did some stoichiometry, again, up on the whiteboard, and I found that given those revolutions, and if I was traveling at 95 revolutions per minute, it will take me 259.2688 minutes to complete 100 miles. Using some stoichiometry, I'm gonna convert that to hours, and that gave me 4.32 hours or 4 hours and 19 minutes. That's a very ambitious cyclist. All right, and that's it. Let me know what other math problems you want me to solve. Until next time, hope you're all staying healthy.